So a lot of people will say, oh, farmers, all they do is whine and complain and they don't make any money. Those farmers don't talk to me. I do not see those farmers. It is rare for me to see a farmer that complains and whines about how hard it is. Because if he read the book, he's most likely successful. He most likely knows his numbers. He most likely wants to get better. Those are the people that are my clients. You're not crazy. You've not lost your mind because you read this book and it makes sense to you. It's because you're open-minded and everybody around you probably is not. And don't judge a book by its cover. That is a true thing. That's a real thing. Hello, and welcome back to the podcast. Thank you very much for being here. I hope that you had a fantastic Christmas and New Year and all the stuff. We closed the office from Christmas Eve until the day after New Year's. And I'm not going to lie, I am recording this while we are on time off. And thank God I did not do it earlier because I'm bored out of my mind. I am bored. And so when I'm bored, this is what happens. I usually will find something to buy or have this grandiose idea of something that we should buy, like, oh, maybe rent a property. And then I forget that because I am not bored all the time, and I am only bored like 1 or 2 days out of the year, that just added more workload, which means I'm less bored. So, there's that. So I'm trying to get smarter about all this stuff because my husband is really good about saying, hey, when are we going to have time to do that? And I'm like, what do you mean, when are we going to have time? We have plenty of time. Time is unlimited. And then I forget time is not unlimited. And, we don't ever get to relax because we have all these things. So anyway, I am glad that I am here recording today. So it gives me something to do. All right, let's talk about the book, Farming Without the Bank. And there are just a couple of things. It's really funny when we start running new ads, then people have all kinds of comments and, assumptions and all this kind of thing. And I am to the point in this adventure that I find it a little bit comical. But I am sure that if you have read the book, you've either thought it or you've talked to people and they have said it. And so let's just talk about it. Number one, the number one comment is, oh, of course you can farm without the bank. Just write a book. Okay. So when people say that, I always like to ask, so if that is all you have to do is write a book, then how much money am I making? What is the net profit on the book? Because I would absolutely love to know what that profit is. And now keep in mind, these are people that don't ever read the book. So the ignorance and the commenting is at a really high level. Because they don't read the book, because they don't even look at anything past the ad, they don't even know that there is life insurance involved, any of that kind of stuff. They just think I'm getting rich writing a book. So if somebody is out there asking you, or if you are thinking that and you've started listening to some of my stuff and you think, well, of course, yeah, farming without the bank is easy because you just write a book. So how much am I making? Because I have to pay employees, I have to pay people to mail the book, I have to pay for the printing of the book, I have to pay for the advertising of the book. So how much am I making? I would love to know what your thoughts are on that. And I'll tell you, it's negative. It's negative, my friends. A big, fat, negative number every single week. I'm not. It's not a moneymaker, okay? Because I have to first get the book in your hands. Because guess what? Unless you read the book, I'm not meeting with you, right? If you don't know that, now you know that. I will not talk to you unless you have read the book because I want you to be educated. The purpose of the book is for that. Yes. And then there's those people that are like, you can't farm without the bank unless you get it handed to you. I'm already farming without the bank because I'm using cash. That's not what the book is about. It's about getting us to farm without the bank. I maybe should have named it Getting You to the Point Where You Can Farm Without the Bank. We have this quick reaction and we like to comment on things and we don't like to have to think about them. You know, I have learned a lot with this whole process of marketing the book and having it on social media and all this stuff. I have learned a lot about shutting my mouth, not commenting unless you have done your due diligence. And so we have to think about things in such a manner that if we are in the industry of agriculture, then we have a lot of people commenting stupid stuff about, oh, here is a good one that I listened to this morning, is that, oh my gosh, we're pumping hormones in these chickens so that they can have a breast the size of our foot. If we grew up in agriculture, if we know anything about agriculture, we know that it is genetics. And I have had to explain this to people. And this is how I explain it. I'm like, if you take a tall man and they marry a tall female, you are most likely going to get a tall child, right? Because genetically, we have taken those genes and we've mixed them together and we are producing a tall individual. Not always do we get that, but that's what we get. So if we're going to have a large-breasted chicken, that is because we have taken the genetics and we have found the genes and we're like, hey, you know what? We can mix these genes together and we can create large-breasted chickens. People assuming stuff about agriculture is no different than people in agriculture assuming stuff about other people in other industries. Because I also hear, well, what does she know? Does she even farm? Does your accountant farm? Does your banker farm? Does the owner of the bank farm? Are you doing business with people that don't farm? Does your seed dealer farm? Does your chemical dealer farm? Or are they just selling you seed, fertilizer, chemical? Does the guy that owned the sale barn, does he farm and ranch? Or does he just own the sale barn? Some of these people are going to do both. We just bought some farm ground. We've had pasture ground forever. Do I actually get in a tractor and farm? Nope, because I don't have time. When am I supposed to be helping you guys do this if I am in a tractor and I am farming? When's that supposed to happen? Do I have cows? Nope. I love them. I absolutely love the cattle part of the farming and ranching piece, but I am not calving cows out at 60 below. You guys have heard me say that before. I'm not calving cows out at -20. I'm not even feeding the cats at -20, people. It's not happening. So, do I do that stuff? No. Do I talk to lots of people to understand? Yes. Do I ask questions to understand? Yes. Do I logically think so that I can share and understand? Yes. Do you want somebody that does everything or do you want somebody that just does one thing? Because guess what? If you do a lot of things, you're not going to be successful at one thing. So there is that. Anyway, back to the book. So the book is the purpose of having to read it so that we've got the information we need. So when we meet, you and I are talking. The book is there so it opens your eyes and it makes you think. It is really hitting people that have not had the arrival syndrome. People with the arrival syndrome are not going to read the book. They're not going to talk to you if you've read the book. They already know everything. So you're really at a crossroads of saying, do I continue to talk to these people that don't know anything because they haven't read the book? Or they think that that's impossible because you have to have it handed to you. It is so interesting to me when I also hear comments about, oh, you think you know it all, and I've lived this life my entire life. Okay, I'll hand that to you. You've been farming your entire life. But I talked to over 2,000 people one-on-one. And that's not including all the people I've talked to at farm shows and speaking events and all the other stuff that I've done. And so you are saying that you have knowledge of everybody outside of your county because you don't. That is the one thing that I have found in the egg industry that we don't have the knowledge of people outside of our county. We don't know what people across the country are doing because we're not going to farm events. We're not talking to people except the core people that we're comfortable with. Is that helping us grow? No. There are farm coaching organizations that people from around the country come in and meet with one another. That is why things like Ranching for Profit have been so successful, is because there are people from all over the country meeting up and doing Ranching for Profit and Executive Link and all the things. Sell by marketing, which you guys know. By the way, I'm going to put a little plug in here for Mr. Cattle Master doing sell by marketing. He is going to be in Bismarck holding a class in Bismarck, North Dakota in March. I am super excited about this because he's coming to me and I don't have to go to Nebraska. So super, super excited to have Doug Ferguson. So if you need to go to the class, go to mrcattlemaster.com and register for the class. Okay. So you have all these people coming from all over talking about what they're doing. It's so fun when I have a client event because all of my clients are coming from all over with all different types of agriculture, some traditional, some regenerative, some organic, and they all get to talk to one another. It's fantastic. And so they're learning or they're deciding, hey, I don't like that or whatever. It makes them think a little bit. So when we see something out there or when you're talking to people and they're like, oh, that's so stupid, that's not going to work, you really have to think about, are you talking to the right people? Because I look at that when people make those comments, I look at that and I'm like, one, you just drove up my algorithm, so thank you very much. Two, you're not my clientele because you can't even look into what is being sold to you or what is being advertised to you. You can't even look into that to determine if you like that or not with an open mind. Those are not the clientele for me. And so a lot of people will say, oh, farmers, they're just, all they do is whine and complain and they don't make any money. Those farmers don't talk to me. I do not see those farmers. It is rare for me to see a farmer that complains and whines about how hard it is. Because if he read the book, he's most likely successful. He most likely knows his numbers. He most likely wants to get better. Those are the people that are my clients. So I don't typically see the negative side of agriculture in-house. I see it online, but I don't see it in-house. So when I'm over here talking about how amazing agriculture can be and that you can make money and we can hand it off and you can start from scratch and you can do all those things, it's because I'm seeing that firsthand. I'm not making that crap up. I'm seeing it firsthand. And so when we look at who we're talking to, we need to make sure we're talking to like-minded people, not just people that are farming and ranching because they're farming and ranching. It's very different. There's people that farm and ranch and there's people that run a business of farming and ranching. They're not the same thing. So if I'm seeing it, you're most likely seeing it. So I just want to touch base with you on that and tell you you're not crazy. You've not lost your mind because you read this book and it makes sense to you. It's because you're open-minded and everybody around you probably is not. And don't judge a book by its cover. That is a true thing. That's a real thing. Don't judge a book by its cover. Same would go for Becoming Your Own Banker by R. Nelson Nash. Don't judge a book by its cover. Read it, think about it, and then apply it. And you're golden. All right, you guys. You know the drill. Grab your book, read it, schedule your appointment with myself or John, and then we can determine if we can help you or not. Sometimes we can't help you. Sometimes we can. Sometimes we just get you on the right path, and then we can help you in a year or two. It happens. But schedule your appointment so we can have that conversation, and then we'll go from there. All right, you have a fantastic rest of your day.
Thanks for listening to the Farming Without the Bank podcast. We hope today's episode has inspired you to take control of your finances in new ways. Don't forget to check out our website, farmingwithoutthebank.com, and engage with us on our Facebook page, Farming Without the Bank. Join us next week as we smash more financial myths and empower you to accomplish your financial goals.